Hello, my name is Philip Evan and I'm Integrity Wealth Management in Burlington, Ontario. One of the hot topics in business today is succession planning. And as financial advisors to small business, with a particular focus on helping business owners realize or monetize the value that's embedded in their businesses, we thought it would be helpful and instructional to share with you a story of successful family business transition. Not just transition from first to second generation, but a transition from second to third generation successfully. Today we're going to spend some time talking with Nathan Helder. He's the president of Gelderman Landscaping, located in Waterdown, Ontario. Won't you join us?
My wife's grandfather was Jan Gelderman. He was a Dutch immigrant, immigrated from Holland in the early 50s. And then he started the business in 1955 in Burlington. And he was very passionate about gardening, creating building projects, and servicing the client. And so he started in 1955 with a 48 Jeep Willie that we're restoring right now, and a handful of tools, and I think $7.14 in his pocket.
Wow.
It was
just that passion,
very humble beginnings.
Yeah, just that passion for gardening and for serving customers.
Yeah, and one crew, one himself and one other person, worked hard, loved being outside, and that's what he wanted to do. The second generation was Hank Gelderman, who was the eldest son from Jan. So Hank started working at the age of 12 in the business because his father got sick with asthma, and so his mother hired a driver, because at 12 you don't have a license, and he went around and did landscape maintenance, cutting lawns for his father's clients.
Wow.
So he started at age 12, and then he went to school, worked for Common Nurseries for a few years, and then came back in the mid-70s, and that's when he took over. He increased the business from about 3 employees to about 55 employees until 2006 or so, 2005, when I came on the scene. In that time period, from the mid-70s to the mid-2000s, the company really grew. They offered profit sharing for their staff, health benefits. They added more services. They moved into this location here. So the second generation there was a big shift. There were some family members still involved in the business, but Hank was the sole owner for those years. Hank developed the business so that it could run without him. He always had the mantra that, what if I get hit by a bus?
Right.
So let's structure the company so that it can run without me. And he even had a plaque on the wall that said, how many days since his last holidays? And it never got over 10. It never got like double digits, very seldom. So he was always gone. And yet the staff shared with me after I was here that it was the right time for the new leader now. And I asked them too, so how did you know I could do this? He goes, I just knew. I said, well, what's that mean, you just knew?
Yeah.
But he was grooming me into place. We would go on these trips, and
Without you knowing it.
Without me knowing it, but we never talked about it. Like, I would ask him questions in my field in the past about customer service, finance. I was the treasurer of our local church, so I'd ask him questions on that. He was the treasurer of a school, so we had a lot of things in common, and we would talk back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, based on the types of questions you're asking, I knew you could do this. I think what we did early on was I told Hank that I wanted my own accountant, my own lawyer. Mm-hmm. He had an accountant, he had a lawyer that was representing him. So I sourced my own accountant and lawyer. Mm-hmm. And he actually welcomed the idea. He goes, yeah, you need somebody to represent yourself.
Sure. Not
my accountant, because my accountant's going to look out for my best interest, sure, not yours. And then we drafted a 5-year succession plan. When Hank took over the business for himself, from his father, he did say to me, I do not want to do to you what happened to me. And basically what happened to him was he joined the business, the price of the business was not set. So for those first 10 years, he grew the business And then his father said, okay, now the business is worth this much. After 10 years,
Right.
higher level.
Right.
We believe that our staff is our greatest asset. So the better staff you have, the greater opportunity you have to grow.
Well, in a business like yours too, your frontline people are the workers that are, cutting the grass or doing the landscape construction for clients. So they're really important.
Yes, I've always made the comment that, when they ask me how many salespeople you have, I'll count all my staff and say we have 80 or 90, whatever it is.
Right.
Because you're right, they're the frontline operators. It doesn't matter what a salesperson tries to sell if your crews aren't performing the work.
Right.
So.
Right. You can make or break it.
That fall, the operations manager approached Hank and said, Hank, this 5-year plan that he talked about, it's going a lot faster. Like Nathan's coming on board faster than we thought. So Hank said, okay, a business can only have one leader. It's that simple. Next April 2007, you are becoming president, and I'm stepping back. But the key thing was he was there as my mentor. So we switched offices. He had the corner office, and I had the small office. Well, he moved into the small office. So physically, the staff could tell that there was a transition happening here.
Right.
Hank left the business basically in year 3. It was the hardest day of his life, he said.
Even though, now that's interesting, even though he'd really set himself up for that right from the beginning, purposefully.
Yeah. Until I walked him outside, I said, Hank, you're about progress and growth. He said, yeah. I said, oh, here's the thing. We're bursting at our seams. I need your office. I need to take that office away from you now. And this was a Wednesday, and maybe I didn't think about this too much. I said, if you can have everything cleaned out by Saturday, that'd be great, because Stephanie starts Monday.
So now you've heard the story. There were many things that led to a successful family business transition. It makes me think of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a book written many years ago by Stephen Covey. And 2 of the habits in there, be proactive and begin with the end in mind, really come into play here. By structuring the business to run without him, Hank really positioned things for the next leader from way back when he started the business, from only a handful of people to over 40 employees and continuing to grow. In my view, this kind of transition takes a special combination of at least 3 ingredients: courage, humility, and grace. It took courage for Hank to put his faith in Nathan as the next leader. And it took courage for Nathan to trust his father-in-law's judgment and his own abilities. It took courage and humility for Nathan to gain experience from all those people who would become his subordinates in fairly short order, to learn the business and everything he needed to know about what made Gelderman Landscaping successful. It took humility for Hank to step back from a business that he had built from only a handful of employees to over 40 and still growing. Finally, I think it took grace for all the employees to work with Nathan, the person who would become their boss, to help him learn the business. But clearly, he had their best interest in mind and that of the company, wanting Gelderman Landscape Services to continue to grow into the premier landscape company that they desire to be. My name's Philip Evanen, President of Integrity Wealth Management. I'd like to thank you for joining us and watching this video. We hope you learn from it and that you can apply some of the principles to your own business. Thanks for watching.